Rods on a 1998 Honda CRV. So, as you can see, they're moving around. That's shot. I marked it actually with a screwdriver or a marker or a line or something, and then I loosened this. That was like a 7/8 because I didn't have a 21. You can use a 14 millimeter to get it off. There we go. We're gonna pull the boot off. Mine's about worn out, but there were two zip ties on the back here holding it. I just used a screwdriver and wedged. It's actually 32 millimeters, and it went right there. Is what I used to loosen the inner tie rod. That should just come off. There was a little cotter pin. We used some pliers, took that out. We have to loosen this, but this was moving. So to stabilize it, I put a 2 open-end wrench in there between the brake caliper and here. I took this meaty sledge and bam, took it out. Alright, I measured them, as you know, and I lined it up from here to the end there. And then next what I did was I counted the threads. There's 11 on the new one. Now I'm going to take it back apart. As you know, this thing was so worn out. Just like a one in. Make sure you got this washer. Kind of slips right back into place there. There it is. This thing, and screw it in. Okay, so the job is complete. I set this to 11 because I pre-counted it, tightened that up. It was 7/8, 17 millimeter on this castle nut. Tightened that up, and then I put the cotter pin back. And then the boot was tough to get on, very tough, especially around the back. I used some of these tools here. Actually, had to use 2 at once. I got it on the top, and then I stretched it around the side, and then the other side with one of those hook tools, and I finished it with some zip. Then we marked this. I used a screwdriver and just as a punch, and then just scrape there. You can see, because I'm going to take it off, then I'm going to put it back together. Next we take a 7/8 and we remove this bolt here, off here, untwist it, and then we're going to untwist it from here. This is 14 millimeter. This was 21, but I forgot to mention is turn the tire all the way to the right or left depending on what tire you're doing, and then use the 14 to get that off. Next is 17 millimeter on the outer part of the tie rod. I put a wrench here to stop it from swaying and moving. Once I got it loose, I'm going to take the cotter pin off right here. As you can see, pull that out. Got off. It was a 32 millimeter or 1 1/4. If you don't have a 32 millimeter, you can use a crescent wrench. Also, there's a special tool that you can buy. It looks like a like big barrel that goes over there. All right, next you're gonna get the boot off. I used a screwdriver to pry the other side off. You might need, just gonna use pliers. Pull it off. As you see, mine's totally shot. A sledge and some PB. Then I put it back together with from my marks. So as you can see, I marked it right. So I lined them up. I counted 10 threads. All right, next we're gonna slip our washer in place. Should just put it in there. Screw it in there. Put the boot on. To get on, so I actually was pre-stretching it. Hook tools to get it over our marking, which was 10 threads, our 7/8 and our 14, and we're just gonna squeeze them together to tighten that thing up. Oh yeah! So now it's not gonna quite fit because of the angle, and we can a nut. Screwed it on there. Took your 17, and now you could bend it any way you want. You don't want to bend. Okay, the job is complete. Got the cotter pin in there, and I had the sledge. I used that. I used a 17 millimeter and a 19 socket. I had a little PB. I had a big crescent wrench. I had a 32 millimeter, 2 screwdrivers to make a punch. A couple pliers to get the cotter pin off, some other things. Used the pick tool to get the boot on. That pick tool, I used 7/8 and a 14.